All right, we're here at the Yak Gear workbench, and we're talking about deep dropping, and I'm sure Karl has left a little bit after his report over there for me to talk about. But first off, you know, all these deep water fish are really good to eat, aren't they?
They are delicious.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
Any fish that lives in that deep, cold water really is really good to eat.
It is, and that's I think anywhere in the world it seems to be that.
Yeah, that's the case. Well, we're going to start out with the tilefish because that's one of the most popular fishes, and you guys got a lot of tilefish there. Where do you guys start fishing for them?
I start at about 1,000 foot of water.
Yeah.
I've gone out as far as 1,800 feet before.
Wow.
Catching them right along, but it's kind of hit and miss with them too, because each day that you may find a spot that's good today and tomorrow nothing.
What?
So you got to do a little looking around for them.
What kind of bottom do they live in?
They like a muddy bottom.
Okay.
Yeah, and so, and like we had talked about earlier, you know, when you're rigging for these, another thing, you want to keep your bait on the bottom.
So you want that whole rig to lay on the bottom?
You want it to lay out flat.
Well, how do you do that?
Well, I usually use a larger, or always use a larger weight at the very end, where you hook up at the end of your rig.
On the
so you'll have the large bait, the large weight here, and as you let it down and you bait on your, where you clip your snap swivel here, I'll slip like a 20-ounce sinker and my light.
Okay.
So when that rig goes down, my big weight hits like there, and it stretches the whole rig out on the ground.
And these are the kind of lights you use like this?
Yes.
Is there any certain color or anything that you guys like to use? Or?
You know, Dave, I've never really seen a color matter.
Well, this one's good because it's disco.
It's covering all of them. right.
It's got them all.
So I think down at that depth, it's just the flash.
It doesn't
really
matter.
is important.
We're not as important, the color.
Yes.
Now, I've got 3 different sizes hooks here on these rigs. Is there any special ones that you want to use when you're targeting tilefish?
Well, if we start and I've got 2 or 3 lines down, I'll start with a larger and a smaller rig to start out with. If it's a lot of small fish, I may stay with the smaller, like the 5/0. But if there's some bigger fish around, I'll move up, because sometimes mixed in you'll have yellow edge grouper.
Right.
You have big tilefish, and you want a good size hook to bring that fish to the boat.
Now, what other kind of fish are out there that you're targeting?
Well, we also have barrelfish
in
that same area, in say 800 feet, coming back in. If we're moving back in, we'll talk about swordfish are out deep. We're just talking about
1,000 plus usually.
1,000 plus. Your swordfish are going to be in that range.
And they like structure, or no? Is it?
They're chasing bait.
Okay.
You know, and there is structure. Say you have a steep cliff and the current's pushing bait against it.
That's
you can
where you
mark
wanna
that.
be.
That's where you want to be, because they're going to be in that fish ball feeding.
What kind of bait do you use for those swordfish?
I use squid and eel.
Okay.
And I've probably had better luck lately with the eel than I've had with the squid.
Are they live eels or frozen?
No,
ones?
they're frozen.
Gotcha.
They're pre-rigged.
Just American eels, 2 feet long?
Yeah, 18 inches, 2 foot long. Seems to work really well. They're usually rigged with a skirt, different color.
I gotcha.
Pick your color, and then you put your lights and everything on.
Now, what about the groupers? Where are you catching those grouper?
Well, see, if we start out, we talked in the 800 foot range, we have some big structure where we catch big Warsaw grouper in that depth. Okay,
right.
So moving back in, say 700, 600, I've got some good rock piles where you'll catch the yellow edge grouper. And as you're moving back in even further, we'll hit structure. For us, it's back east, there's lots of old oil rigs. And on those rigs in the 200 to 400, there's a lot of scamp grouper and gag grouper.
And you guys are you guys are using electric reels in that depth of water too, aren't you?
We are. We are. Yeah.
Yeah, I imagine so. It is. It's yeah, we're zeroed out, brother. Free spool.
Yeah.
But yeah,
right, here we go.
And what's really cool about these batteries, these Abyss batteries, is you can just put them right on the rod. And this is a bent butt, so you don't even have to touch that thing. It just sits out there, and when it's you got to put it in.
There you go. See, makes life easy.
I'd probably, yeah, exactly. I'd probably end up winding myself in that thing.
Well, that's why it has the automatic shutoff too for all of us. We get excited, we got a big fish, and we'll wind the fish up in the reel.
Yeah, and this saves your rig. And once it gets to 0, you can put your rig out, and then you're not going to suck all your rig up into there.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Well, that's about it, man. We ran out of time already.
Okay.
Bam.
Bree,
good seeing you.
Thanks for coming, brother.
Bree, how cool is that Dave, all he's got to do is push a button, and he can't do that? You
I
can't
think
do that.
that's just the coolest stuff ever.
Yeah.
He can do a lot of other things really well.
Yeah.
though,
I love the fact that you can have a portable battery
Yeah.
and walk anywhere you want to walk in the boat.
That's awesome.
That abyss
Not
is the
being
way
a
to go.